السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we praise Him because He is worthy of praise. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evil within ourselves and the evil consequences of our actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon the last and final messenger, upon his family, his companions, and his wives, and all those who follow his way until the end of time. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. We remind one another to be people of taqwa, which means to live your day-to-day life, remembering Allah and considering Allah in all of your decisions and all of your affairs. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the muttaqeen. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen, amma ba'd. When I saw Trump's AI version of Gaza, which I'm sure by now you've all seen, mashallah, he had a gold statue of him. I couldn't help but laugh. While many of us were probably boiling from within. For whatever reason, actually I know why, I couldn't help but laugh. Because wallahi, it is simply a sign they have no idea how Muslims think. We're on completely different paradigms in how we view the world, how we approach the world. To where it's like he's making an advertisement to the people of Gaza. Look at what your life could be. Money is raining from the sky. People are on the beach enjoying a nice tan. And they think that somehow that is attractive to the people of Gaza. But we know that's not how we view things. We're not attracted to money falling above us from the sky. We don't care about sitting on the beach and enjoying whatever they were drinking and getting a tan. Wallahi, these things are secondary to us. And do you know why they're secondary to us, dear brothers and sisters? It is because Allah, through this beautiful religion and what He has ordained for us, has freed us from these worldly desires and these worldly pursuits. This is how Muslims are. This is how the believers are. But those who don't understand this, who don't believe in this, they think that we love what they love. Why wouldn't they? And so let's go ahead and show them what life in Gaza could be like under Trump's vision. And we sit there looking at it and say, we're not interested, nor will we ever be. Yes, we are interested in the stability of the people of Gaza. Yes, we are interested in their livelihood and in their future. But that's not how the future of how the believer looks at their future. What we want to see are masajid that are prominent in the area. What we want to see are people who help the poor, who take care of their elders. That is the ideal society in the mind of the believer, because Allah, through this beautiful religion and what He has ordained upon us in this religion, has freed us from being enslaved by the world, from being enslaved by other people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells the believers, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam. Fasting has been made mandatory upon you. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, there is a higher authority that is not giving you the choice of whether you can fast or not. You must fast as an obligation. You have no choice in it. Now, when you look at fasting, dear brothers and sisters, from the perspective of a non-Muslim, what is this deal of your religion requiring you to abstain from food and drink for long periods of time for an entire month? That sounds dumb. Can you imagine someone coming to you and say, today I'm just not going to eat? Why? It's in my mind. I feel like I don't want to eat today at all. Okay, that just sounds dumb. That just sounds like a poor decision. Now, we go out there boasting, we're excited about Ramadan. We're excited about having to fast long hours. That just sounds really dumb to someone who doesn't believe in it. Not only that, one of the ways we explain the wisdom of Ramadan is that it helps us overpower our desires. It restricts us from our desires. In other words, we restrict ourselves from the freedom to eat and drink at our own liberty. Not only does this act of worship sound very strange to somebody who's not a Muslim, but it also seems to go against the very belief of freedom that this Western world has adopted. So what's the point of this? And our response is in the verse that I just said, Kutiba alaykum. We embrace the reality of needing to submit to a higher power. And before anybody tells us, oh, I don't submit to anyone, everybody submits to something. Everybody. Because that's how the human being is. So while Elon Musk goes about doing whatever he's doing, and Jordan Peterson talks about how good Western civilization is and democracy and how democracy is free and Muslims don't have democracy and they're tyrannical and whatnot, and then you have Tommy Robinson and all these buffoons, you look at all of them, and somehow, some way, the Zionists have control over them. Look at the history. Look at who's paying them. You are slaves to them. You wouldn't dare say anything that goes against what they want you to say about the Zionist project and about Israel. So you are submitting to something, O people of freedom. Everybody submits to something. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He frees us by making what we submit to the highest power. And when we submit to the highest power, we don't submit to anyone else. And so while they make these AI videos of what Gaza could look like, a bunch of people submitting to their desires of money or alcohol or livelihood or women, we say we submit to Allah, and therefore we're not interested in that image, in that video, in what you think a prosperous Gaza is. We're not. And where we get that from is fasting. So fasting is how we, Muslims, free ourselves from being enslaved by anything or everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because every single human being submits to something, whether they admit it or not. We submit to Allah, and the result of which is we submit to nobody else. We're not interested. So dear brothers and sisters, as we enter this beautiful month of Ramadan, remember what you are being given as a result of your willingness to submit and to embrace the command of Allah, acknowledging that you don't have a choice as to whether you should do it or not. We get freedom as per Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's definition of freedom. So embrace this reality and accept the fact that this is what empowers you. This is what makes you amazing and unique in front of the world. And so they might think that fasting is strange, bizarre. Why would you do it? I'm sure most of them feel a sense of, wow, that's really unique. Because I don't think I would be able to do that. You see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the beauty of this religion, what He commands us to do, frees us and makes us a very influential force. You know, I just read a part of a book the other day about somebody who goes through the 8 main religions or 8 most populous religions on earth. And he starts with Islam. The first religion he talks about is Islam, not because he's a Muslim. And I found that very strange. Why is he starting with Islam? He's actually a Christian. And in the introduction, he explains why. He says, I order these religions based on which are the most influential, and Islam is the most influential. He's admitting that as a non-Muslim. Because we Muslims were given a religion that commands us to do certain things that we have no choice in, because we submit to a higher power, and that higher power frees us from being enslaved or being subservient to other than Him. Hence, Al-Rib'i ibn Amir radiallahu ta'ala an, the noble companion, when he spoke to the general of Persia, he said, جِئْنَا لِنُخْرِجَ النَّاسِ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ النَّاسِ إِلَى عِبَادَةِ رَبِّ النَّاسِ. He made it very clear when the general asked him, why are you Muslims coming here? Why are you Arabs coming here? What's your deal? He said it very upfront. We came to free humanity from being subservient and slaves to humanity by becoming subservient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's our message. That is our message. And Ramadan is one of the periods in which we reacquaint ourselves with this message. We rejuvenate this reality in our lives. And we remind one another of the value of being a Muslim. And so in this month, dear brothers and sisters, let us dedicate our acts of worship. Let us dedicate our extra good deeds as a honoring of all of our brothers and sisters who have passed away, who were murdered by the tyrants of Israel or beyond. From Sheikh Khalid Nabhan to the dear Hind, the young lady, the young girl, and all the other children who were killed. And we won't forget our brothers and sisters in Sudan, in that civil war. And we don't forget our brothers and sisters who were killed in the civil war in Syria, nor our brothers and sisters in East Turkestan, or Kashmir, or Myanmar, and the list goes on. This Ramadan, let us go above and beyond, appreciating what Ramadan does for us, what our salah does for us, what giving our zakah does for us, it frees us from the shackles of our desires, from the shackles of higher powers other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I say higher powers, I mean the people in power in our world. So that we can go about offering the same freedom to those who have been enslaved, to those who have been subjugated by people who are truly evil. That's Ramadan. So always remember these individuals who, while we enjoy comforts and conveniences in this land, they are essentially the bulwark protecting the rest of the ummah from these criminals known as the State of Israel. So go above and beyond, dear brothers and sisters. You have the opportunity of truly embracing the spirit of salah and zakah and fasting, of truly becoming something people are longing for. And when I say people, I mean humanity. We are in a time in human history where things are changing rapidly and quickly, and people are longing for something organic, something meaningful. And so as the month of Ramadan comes about, remember, this is a month that's meant to free you from being subservient to other than Allah. And what that looks like is your mind, guided by the Quran and the way of the Prophet ﷺ, is what's in control of your decisions. And so the next time or during this month, when you're invited to a family and you're enjoying the company and they're giving you the sweets and Isha prayer is coming up and you're now in a dilemma, do I stay and enjoy the company and the sweets, or do I take it to go and get myself to the masjid? Now this sounds like, enjoy the month and we could pray at home and whatnot. But with the message of Ramadan, what it's meant to do, when we prefer sweets over going to the masjid and performing the greatest pillar of the faith and conducting a communal act of worship that's meant to make us better, that's meant to make us freer, that's meant to make us more influential, are sweets really more important than that? So consider this a pep talk from me to you as we approach this blessed month with Taraweeh beginning tonight, that we, in honor of all of our brothers and sisters who were murdered and killed in the tribulations and the trials that they are going through, who used to and continue to call out, where are the Muslims? Where are the 2 billion people? At least let's make this Ramadan a month where we can respond and say, we're getting ready. We're preparing to be able to do just a little bit more, to come to better conclusions, to be able to be a more powerful force at the negotiating table. And you might be thinking, what's salah and zakat going to do? I just remind you and myself of the verse, الَّذِينَ إِن مَّكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assists those who He knows if they are given power, they will use that power to establish salah, to make sure zakah is being given, thus the poor and the needy and the vulnerable are being taken care of, and they are people who are ethically upright. So let's make the most out of Ramadan, and let's not let our worldly desires and our interest in sweets and company cause us to not take the most advantage of what this month has to offer. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن ولا أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the Quran that a strong believer is not somebody who goes it alone. They are not somebody who is able to do everything by themselves. But rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us that Muslims thrive when they work together, when they cooperate with one another, when they're in it together. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. They work together to encourage the continuation of the truth. And they work together to keep each other patient as they pursue that which is right and that which is good. So if you know yourself to be somebody who needs a little bit of an extra push to come to Salah more often, to make sure that they come all 29 or 30 days, then create a group. Create a group for you, 3, 4, 5 individuals who will push one another to strive and to struggle to make the most out of this month. And that is the application of the religion. That is the application of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is advising us to do. So in this blessed month, we start with an intention that we are going to make the most of this month. And making the most of this month means we make sweets and food and all of this stuff secondary. And we make our going to Salah, Isha, Fajr, Taraweeh, a primary goal. We all can do it. And alhamdulillah, we have safe access to many different masajid. And so let's tell ourselves, I have no excuse not to go to the masjid. Of course, if somebody has a medical condition or children, whatnot, obviously those are excuses. But for the rest of us, the masjid is the place I will be frequently in this month, so that we continue to live the legacy of what Rib'i ibn Amir said. We have come to free ourselves and others from being subservient to evil forces by becoming subservient to the highest power, Rabbil Alameen. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in this upcoming month. May He give us strength and tawfiq. May He make our intentions pure. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to see victories in this month as He's shown us and shown the ummah many victories in Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be a factor in that. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow our brothers and sisters who are aforementioned to see prosperity, to see peace, to see stability after such plight and such difficulty. Several announcements. Please make dua for Sister Hala Mihyar, who passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower her with mercy, to forgive her sins, to overlook her shortcomings, and accept her good deeds. OCIF, on behalf of OCIF, we wish you a blessed Ramadan, and we congratulate you on the upcoming month. As of now, our Taraweeh is tonight. Aisha will begin at 7:45. So once again, Taraweeh begins tonight, with Aisha being at 7:45, followed immediately by Taraweeh. Quran recitation, for those who want to follow along, will begin 30 minutes prior to Salah. So at 7:15, recitation will begin. 7:45, Aisha prayer will begin. Tonight, after Taraweeh, we will be having a workshop, a quick workshop about the fiqh of fasting. So tonight, after Taraweeh, we will have a workshop about the fiqh of fasting with myself and Sheikh Majdi Jabir. OCIF is selling locally grown dates, right? Locally grown dates, no Zionism included here. Outside, inshallah, stop by our table if you'd like some dates. Please visit our website to see all the Ramadan details and programs. We have a lot going on this month, so that inshallah we can make the most of it. Access California is visiting us today. They have a table outside, so please check them out. And if you'd like to donate and help us, support us in this month, we are looking for people to sponsor iftars, sponsor suhoors, sponsor other activities that's going on. You can find the link either on the iftar flyer, or you can find it on the website, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And I remind everyone, as you already know, feeding somebody who is fasting, you get the reward of that fast. And our iftars has between 100 to 150 individuals. If you can sponsor that or sponsor a part of it, that's major reward, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Wa aqim as-salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
La ilaha illallah, stawu istaqimu, shoulder to shoulder, make sure your lines are straight, fill in any gaps. Just one more quick announcement for Saddleback College students. If you go to Saddleback College, the college is reserving the room BGS 354. Once again, BGS 354 is a room that is reserved for Salah during the month of Ramadan. So if you have a student or your child or sibling who goes to Saddleback College, there is a room, BGS 354, that is reserved for salah during the month of Ramadan. Jazakumullah khair. Stawu. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.